Like many entrepreneurs in 2020, she had to figure out how to pivot her in-person business of fitness training and move online. So she moved to online coaching with a bigger focus on nutrition and wellness coaching rather than the workouts. Her business is growing, but she's about to hit a ceiling. She can only take on so many one-to-one clients until the time is maxed out, and she's about to be too busy to grow her business any further. So we're going to dive in and find out what's working, what's not, and what she can do to make the business thrive the way she needs it to. So let's give a big welcome to Chelsea Cooper. Hi, Chelsea.
Hello.
Nice to have you here. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, guys, if there are any trainers, health, wellness, nutrition, fitness coaches watching, comment below, show your love, because it takes a lot to show up and put all your cards on the table and figure out what to do. So, Chelsea, right? I know.
Yes, totally agree.
So I explained a bit about what I understand your situation to be based on your application. So did I get that right? Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Well, it's pretty accurate as far as, kind of transforming my business into more of an online, going there for, since 2020 and all the great things that happened during that time.
Right.
So, yeah,
So
pretty accurate.
As you're growing, so right now you have a certain amount of clients, and are they all one-to-one, and you're trying to move into a group model?
Yes, they are all one-to-one. And you hit it kind of on the nail. Like, I'm growing. I still have some capacity for one-on-one, but I just feel like it's going to be, at some point I'm going to hit the ceiling, and then it's going to be, like you're saying, the balance, right? I could take on a lot, but then that's all I'm doing. I'm not out and about with family, taking care of that. I'll just be working. So yes, I'd like to move to groups, and I still do one-on-one, but like maybe the focus more is on group.
Right. Well, and it can be like a house of dominoes there. So, if you have it maxed out, you're spending all your time focused with clients, and then, one has to leave for some reason, another has to, you haven't spent any time attracting any new clients. There's no funnel bringing people. So you're maxed out. And if they're gone, the business is back. You're back to zero. Right. So that's a really kind of crazy place. We don't want to be there. So it sounds
definitely.
like one of the things you've identified is that the best thing to do is to move to a one-to-many model, right? So a group coaching as opposed to a one-to-one, right?
Correct.
Okay. So as I'm kind of looking over the things that you have, one of the big things that you mentioned in here is that you're looking for structure. And so right now, what do you feel is unstructured? What are you lacking?
Well, that could be a long story. No, let's see. The structure is more kind of have a daily routine. So, in the morning, do some things, work. Just maybe the organization and just the structure of my day. Like, I know I'm going to work, but I don't necessarily have specifically what I'm going to work on all the time. I have weekly coaching calls with my clients, so like I know when I have to do things, like I'll have a call here, I have a meeting here, but like in between sometimes I'm just like, I'll do this, or like I don't feel like it, or random things.
And are the calls set within the best time for you, or are they set at the same time all the time for the clients, or are they set for the best time for the clients? How is that structured?
It's set for me. Except for me, usually it's the end of the week, like a Thursday, Friday.
Okay.
And I had Saturday, but I have a lot going on Saturday. So I think I just was like, I don't need Saturday. Like they could do like Thursday, Friday or something. So I'm kind of playing with that right now. But yeah, I've kind of tried to set it up where it's kind of more on my time. And then so far it's fine. I try to give enough times that it's like, okay, midday, morning, evening. So
yeah. That's why stores have set times. We learn to show up when they open and before they close. Right. There's enough flexibility within it, but there's just a certain point that's when they're closed. So that's
you can't come in.
Yeah, and really, it's because that's when they're operating at their best, right? That's when they have enough staff. That's when they have things. There's a reason. So you got to think of it that way too. It's not just being selfish. It's like, this is when I can show up optimally for you. So. One of the things I want to point out, guys, if you haven't listened to what she's saying, is like this Thursday, Friday thing is really smart, because that's really a concept of batching. That's where you're in client mode. And if you're in client mode and that's all day, I would probably keep that going. So those are what I do is Wednesdays are client days for me. And I have the client set within a certain structure, but anything else that I'm going to do, meetings with anybody, when I'm recording a show, anything like that also happens on Wednesday because I'm already in camera mode. I'm already talking. I'm already there. So that day, I don't try to fit in some deep thinking. I don't try to create content. I don't try to write an article in between having to show up. And I imagine for you as a trainer in wellness, like you have to bring a lot of energy to the table. So the last thing you want to do is show up there and be like, now let me write a week's worth of content for my Instagram. So keeping that mode is probably ideal as your Thursday, Fridays, really batching that energy. And then start looking at your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays as the days that you are working on the other parts of your business. Like you said, like finding that structure. Right. So a lot of what's going to happen to figure out that structure is for you to start making choices about when am I going to, what content do I create, right? Like everyone has to create something because what business comes down to is three things. We have three parts of our business. I don't care what you do. If you miss these three things, you don't have a business. All right. So you have
talk to me.
Right? So first you have to have a model that attracts business. You have to have a model that converts those prospects. And then you have a model to deliver. So whatever your attract model is, how people are finding you, that's what you're doing work for. This becomes priority because that's what pays the bills. Okay? So you show up and go, well, what is attracting? How am I attracting clients? How am I attracting prospects? How do they show up? Now, if you start to notice that your content on Instagram isn't really pulling people in, then drop it right now. Because one of the biggest things, especially solopreneurs get caught up in, is trying to do all the things because everyone's talking about the benefit of all the things. So Instagram can really help your business. Clubhouse now, that's the thing. Clubhouse, you should be on Clubhouse. And everyone's on TikTok. You could do, and the truth is, they're all right. They're all right. Every single one of those things can grow your business. But as a solopreneur or even as a small business, you cannot do all the things. So Clay Collins, as well as Taki Moore, there are a few people who, I don't know who came up with it first, but they have a concept called the 5 1s. And this is where you focus on 5 things, right? So you focus on one audience, you focus on one product, you focus on one platform, like one attract model, and you focus on one conversion model for 1 year.
Wow.
Because until you're bringing in at minimum, 10 to 15K a month, you don't need to have your hands in a bazillion other things. You need to perfect the one thing that you're doing. If you're going to show up on Instagram, you're going to show up on it so damn well. You are going to spend all that time and effort on there to do all the things. And that's going to be the thing. And you're going to convert them. You're going to figure out, okay, when I get them on Instagram and they come in, my convert model. Now, so let's go back real quick. So your attract model, right? There's a few ways we attract people, and really there's all these different ideas, right? But really there's only 3. It's paid, it's organic, or through partnerships. So you're either paying for ads, you're organically showing up and posting, whether that's on social media, whether that's blogs, whatever it is that people are finding you, or through partnerships where somebody else is telling their audience about you. Those are what it all boils down to. All that social media, that's organic. All those ads, that's paid. All those times that you got an email where they say, hey, my friend's doing this, that's partnership. That's really what it boils down to. So identifying that piece, where you're going to focus, and then identifying once they get there, how you're going to convert them. How do they go from this was great? How do they go from that was a great post to this was, I downloaded the ebook or something like that. And from that ebook, how do we go from ebook to client, right? That's the conversion model. So to bring this back a little bit to structure, once you've made that decision, then let's say you decide to play on Instagram. Instagram's going to be your focus for the next year. So you have to make decisions. How often am I going to show up? How do I show up? Am I IGTV? Am I really pushing stories? Am I doing lives? Am I coaching? Perhaps I'm really giving, I'm doing short. Whatever the format is, decide that. And then you have to say, how often am I showing up? Am I showing up twice a day? Am I, just kind of create what that is. Because otherwise, you're going to sit down to create content and go, well, you're going to spend half the time figuring out what you're going to create, let alone create it, which isn't going to happen. So after you've batched your Thursday, Friday, those are out.
Right.
So now you know, now you go, okay, I've decided I'm going to do 1 live a week. I'm going to post 2 times a day, right? So now we're at, you know, let's say it's a 5-day work week. So I'm at 10 posts. I'm at 1 video. Now you got to figure out, now you have kind of a blank slate to go, let me fill in what that's going to be about. So when you sit down to do your content, you already have the blank spot to go, topic 1. Now for you, as you're trying to really focus on nutrition and wellness and group coaching, your job when you show up to attract people essentially is educating them about your product. So a lot of times what'll happen is people will just give good information and they're like, well, that's great. That's a great source. But you're not teaching them how to appreciate your product, appreciate what you can show them. So if you're putting them in the mindset consistently to say, you know, benefits of nutrition, whatever you're specifically teaching about nutrition, if you're giving them, let's say, meal plans, then you educate them all week on the benefit of meal plans. You're teaching them hacks about meal plans. You're getting to the point where they look and go, God, I really need a meal plan. I should really download her meal plan. And then that's where that's where our next step goes, right? Our convert, that should be naturally the next step, where it's like, well, God, I've looked so much about meal plan. I hope she has something about meal plans. And then I download the meal plan thing, right? We're just giving the meal plan as an example, guys. I don't know if that's what she does, but that's what we're going to find out. So we have the meal plan. And then, you know, Mama wants to hear about some meal plans. And now she's on your list, or she's on that phone call, or whatever it is that you've chosen as your conversion model. And you're talking to someone you know who's interested, you know, who's educated about it, why they need it. And now you're going, guess what? I got meal plans for you. That's what I got.
I got a lot of them.
That's my product. And so a lot of times we show up, especially in the fitness space, because there is so much you can talk about. You could talk about you could talk about being hydrated. You could talk about, you know, being healthy in the sun. Like, there's so many things. But what connects to educate about your product? What makes them such an expert where they're like, I actually need this, and I know that this is subpar and that's subpar. Why do I know that? Because I've been following Chelsea, and she's been showing me, like, I got to look out for that and what those people do, or this is why Weight Watchers doesn't work, or this is why this is a superior product, right? I'm not making claims, guys, but we're just saying, you start to educate why this process is ideal for them and who it's ideal for, without having to say, this is, you know, here's my product, buy from me. Here's my product, buy from me, right? That's where you're giving the value. But connecting it to that education is huge. That's a big part. So is this making sense so far?
It definitely is. Yeah. It totally makes sense. Yeah. And it also helps because then I can narrow, like you said, it's so many things, right? So I can pull out the things and just maybe focus on one part of the program, right? Yes. For the next whatever weeks. Then I can go to something else. But then I kind of know what to focus on, because then sometimes I'm just like, okay.
Because you could pull it from anywhere.
Many things, yeah.
And you can help so many people. So that's bringing in the narrow focus of like what, and this can help for all kinds of business, guys. So if you're wondering, you know, let's say you have different products that you're promoting throughout the year. First of all, you should know when you're going to promote it. If you know you're going to have a sale on, you know, a certain mom product, right? So then for the couple weeks leading up to it, you're talking to moms, you're talking about mom life, you're starting to get the mindset there to that. If you're going to have a sale on t-shirts, then a couple weeks before that, start talking about t-shirts. But then after that, if you know your pants sale's coming up, you switch gears, you start talking about pants, right? We start talking about winter coats. We start prepping them to go, it's going to start getting cold soon. You know, ski season's looking pretty gray. Start talking about coats, right? Before you just show up and go coats, you know, coat sale. So that's really where right now, if you're going to focus on one product, then you get to be narrow. You get to keep honing in on, and there's so many elements there, right? There's mindset elements, I'm sure, that you're dealing with. There's, you know, their own personal time management that they're dealing with, their own food education. So even within this narrow focus of what you're teaching, there's a lot you can pull from, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't keep you stuck.
Agree.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's not like, what do I need to talk about? Yeah. What do, you know, people need help.
But it starts to cut out some of the other stuff as well. It starts to go, okay, yeah, I can talk about that, but that's not it right now. What I need to do is I need to stay in my lane so they know that this is my focus, right? Yeah, that's the thing. There's a doctor that's a good friend of mine, and she's a doctor. She knows all doctor things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you show up on her Instagram, you show up, she's sleep. Like she loves to sleep. She loves to talk about sleep. She's about sleep. Like if you go there, you're like, this is where I go to learn about sleep. This is where I go to hear that I need sleep, facts about sleep, things about sleep. Yeah, she's a doctor. You trust and know she knows all the other things, but you also know what she cares about. You know what she stands for. That also becomes your brand, right? That's a whole other thing we dive into, you know, when we do our coaching together, is like going into the brand identity, but just starting to hold on to that it's not necessary to be all the things. They know by your title, girl, you got 15 years in this industry. Yeah. You know, they don't need all this other stuff, right? So hone in on that. Now, as we talked about that structure, kind of, that's one component you need to do, is set a time when you're creating content. And if you know how much content you need to create, you also can start to get an idea or a rhythm, how long it takes you, how it feels. Like if you're like, man, I get burnt out after 30 minutes of this, then you can know I have to break it out this way. Some people I've talked with, they'll batch out a month of content in a one long Saturday, because once they're in the mode, they're just in the mode, you know. And knowing you can always show up organically, but when you already have an idea of what's there, it just takes that whole weight off your shoulder, especially as a solopreneur when you're trying to juggle all the things. Right?
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. And if that's your attract model, that's how people find out about you. It's worth it to put that time and effort into it.
Right.
So the next thing after that is looking at the convert.
Okay.
Right? So we said you focus on one target. That's another thing I did mention in that. One target. Okay. So you want to really kind of hone in on that. And this isn't forever, but this is really so you start to tweak your messaging so clear. Now, I did notice on your website, and if we have time, we'll see if we can pull that up, but I did notice on your website that you specified, I think it was like professional, let me pull it here, the way you said it. I help busy professional women, right? So that is a lot clearer than a lot of things I've seen. So we're honing in a little bit. If there's anything that you feel you can get even more specific on that, play with that. You know, busy professional women that are struggling with this. You have Get Fit and Fabulous, but I also think like that's kind of an easy one, you know, because like none of us are like, oh, I want to get overweight and sluggish, you know. So
right. I hear you.
Who are looking for a faster way, a more efficient way, something like that, perhaps. With more support, more structure, easier, you know, words like that. I mean, ultimately, that's what you're offering. What's the you know, Fit and Fabulous is the end result, which is still great. We like to focus on there, but we want to get that. If at any time you have a question, just interrupt me.
Okay. I will. So, I'm absorbing it all in right now.
Take it all in. So as we look at that, we're focusing on that one target market. We're focusing on that one platform, right? That one area in our attract model. Then we're moving into where we are how we're converting them, right?
Right.
And so sometimes that first step, even to track them in, to find out if they're a warm lead, is usually what is referred to as a lead magnet, right? It's something where they're able to make that micro commitment. We're asking them for the date. We're not asking them to get married, right? So we're not going like, oh, did you like my Instagram post? Do you want to be a client now? Like, yes, I'm so convinced, take my money.
That's how it works all the time.
Right. So a lot of time we want to ask them out for coffee. We want to give them that quick win. So if you go the lead magnet route, the one thing to keep in mind with the lead magnet is the SAGE, which is SAGE. So it should be short, actionable, goal-oriented, and easy. So that means a 47-page ebook is not the way to go. Okay. A 5-part series is not the way to go. Because as entrepreneurs, we get excited, right? We're like, I want to give value. I can give them so much. But we forget that in this time-strained day and age, giving a lot of time to something that we're not sure if will work out is still a risk. So your freebie can still be a risk. What they need is something that says, in 7 minutes, find out 2 exercises that'll trim you up, in 2 minutes, right? And there's a lot of numbers there. I wouldn't say that's the best idea there, but something where it's like, 2 exercises I can do every day to tighten my butt. Like, I'll bite. Like, that sounds like a quick win. And then it is. Here's the 2. Here's a little, GIF of how to do it. There's your win. Got it. Like, oh, she delivered and it was quick. And I like that. What else? Right? And then we take them to the next step. What is the real conversion there? Is it getting them on a call? Is it a webinar? Is it an application? You know, there's a lot of different funnels out there, but this is where you start to get into what is my funnel? What is the process that I take them through to go from this place to this place where they have more interaction with me, they get to know, like, and trust me, and they're ready for this. Sometimes that call can be intimidating, and this is a structure that a lot of businesses use, so it can work, but it just has to make sure that it's sometimes shorter is better, right? Sometimes making it clear what the end result is, because you think, I'm going to give them, you know, some benefits. They hear, I'm going to get sold to, right? You know, and a lot of times we don't answer our phones for our own friends. So a lot of times people don't want to get on the call of
Right.
a stranger,
That's
right?
That's
So,
true. That's true.
Can't you just text me? So
Yeah, text me all the information.
yeah. So this is something that you really need to dive into a little bit and identify what that convert model is going to be. If they're going from a lead magnet to an email series, and then what is that call to action through that email series? Is it to a next baby step? Like if you liked this, maybe you'll like that, right? And go to like, now maybe they're ready for a 10-minute video or something like that to, like, you know, see if that's the next thing, or 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be that long. So there's a guy named Todd Olford, I think his name is. Sorry if I'm getting it wrong here, but he has this thing called the SSF method, which is slow lane, sidewalk, slow lane, fast lane. And so he says, when someone's in the slow lane or someone's on the sidewalk, they're not even on the road, right? They don't need you like jumping up like, hey, how you doing, right? So that's where you got to give something real little, right? Those are the people who are ready for that lead magnet. And then when they're in the slow lane, they're like, okay, I'm cruising. Let's see what you got. And then in the fast lane, like they're headed toward you. They're like, let's do this. Let's go. I'm ready to get into the parking lot. Like, let's stop. Let's go into the store. Okay. Right. So you need to also be able to meet the people at each of those levels, right? So you don't want to give someone on the sidewalk, you know, the 3-part workout series, right? The giant like thing, even though it's valuable, they're not ready for it. They're just like, man, I'm just here on the sidewalk. Why are you even here?
Who are you?
Excuse me, ma'am. Why are you talking to me? Okay. So as you go and dive further into that, so when you get to that, of course, we can, you know, kind of discuss more when you identify that, but that's the other part you need to sort out. And so when you start to figure out your structure of the week, this is also something you're going to make space for, right? Like my calls, if it's a call, if it's checking the emails that I've been sent, whatever that model is, if you're looking at the result, even if it's, look, what are the results of my lead magnet? How did they do this week? If it's not working, I perhaps need to adjust my lead magnet or adjust my message. I need to fix something. That a lot of time that happens is people set a model up and go, well, I'm not getting anything, so I'm going to do something completely. I'm going to do webinars now. And you're like, whoa. Maybe we need to just adjust this. We need to adjust what you're giving them. Maybe that's not what they want. Maybe that doesn't connect. Maybe we're giving the wrong message. There's a lot of things, and this is where the 5 1s come back to, is focus and getting good on that one thing.
Right.
You're not going to be the best right out the bat. You know, it's about tweaking that message, getting feedback from your current clients, hearing that voice of customer. How do they describe their problem, right? How do they say what's wrong? Because one thing I did see, I'm going to call you out here on your thing. In your application,
it's going too well.
I asked you, what is your business product? And
What did I say?
Your answer was coaching. And here's the thing. Nobody purchases coaching. Nobody's like, I want a coach for the sake of having a coach. Nobody does that. And transformation in health. Let's be honest. Most of us aren't walking around going, I really just want a transformation in my health. That's not what they're saying. Okay. They're going, I want to fit in my jeans. I want to, stop feeling so sluggish. I want to stop eating all the stuff that I know I'm not supposed to eat. That's how they're describing it. When you have the knowledge, you're describing it around like, I want better nutrition. When they're trying to sound proper, they're telling you, I want better nutrition. But really, they're just saying, I want to stop eating all the damn Oreos. And I know I'm not supposed to, but I don't know what it is. I don't, and
Right.
for you coming in to go, it's a mindset thing, but I'm not
Yeah.
walking around going, I need to change my mindset around Oreos. That's not what I'm
Right.
describing my problem as.
Right.
I'm describing it as not being able to stop, snacking too much, whatever it is, and meeting them at that voice of customer, in their voice, how they describe their problem. And the truth is, when I ask you what your actual product is, and this is a time, also where we're going to promote Chelsea a little bit, this is not your product. Your product isn't coaching. Your product, when I look on your thing, your website here, is was it a 60 or 60 day, right? It's a 60-day coaching program to get you to towards the weight you're looking for in 60 days, right? Yes, nutrition's there. Yes, all these other things are there, but it is a 60-day program,
right,
to change your mindset, your habits, your this, to get you towards the body you're wanting, that you've been looking for, that you've been trying to find again. That's what it is. It's not coaching. Coaching is just the method. Coaching is the way that you show up. Coaching is something that half the people don't even know what the heck it means, unless you are,
right,
sitting on the sidelines at a basketball game. Then they're like, oh, that's a coach.
Right.
Or they picture you yelling at them, right? Like, don't eat that, eat the salad. Like, I don't want to pay someone for that. So even your own mindset, as I could see when you filled out the program, your own mindset of like, my product is coaching. No, it's not. It's a 60-day program to change the trajectory of what they've been trying to accomplish probably for a lot of years, and they've been stuck. It's a 60-day program of results. It's 60 days of support to get them to where they've been trying to go, to break them through that plateau, to get them to the other side. And of course, I know you don't want to give any giant helps, like, get you your beach body, and like, you don't have to play those games either. But you can say, I'm getting you towards the where you want to be, absolutely. Because and I know that once they start getting to those wins, those first 5 to 10 pounds may not seem like much, but as soon as they get over that hill, it's smooth sailing, really, because that's when you've crushed your mindset. That's when you've, changed habits. That's when you've done things that are going to set them for life, because that knowledge and that change, those 60 days are transformational.
Right.
But nobody's looking for transformation. They're looking for the results.
Right.
So,
that's good. Good. That's good. You're preaching to the choir. Preaching. Yeah, definitely. I am.
Yeah, and that kind of covers the same thing that I saw in your application, which is, what problem do you solve? Not feeling good about their bodies, which is definitely, I think that is something about a voice of customer. You're hitting it on the head there a little bit. You might want to hear how they describe it, but like, tired of not being happy when I look in the mirror. All those things, using their voice. And reduce stress and anxiety, I think that's a benefit. I don't know. Now that you're moving closer into nutrition, that's also something you may want to pay attention to. If people are showing up because of clinical issues, because of where the, we know, right? We know that food is its own medicine. The wrong foods have been clinically proven to increase stress, to increase anxiety, right? That's a whole thing that is out there. There's studies, plenty that can actually, our moods are directly related to food. But again, I don't know the general public sees or hears and understands it that way. I think somebody who may have been in a clinical situation where they're like really dealing with something, like they're telling me this is my problem, they may know, they may be able to voice that. This is a side benefit, but I don't know if that's the problem you're really resolving. Right? At least in their voice. This is what you're going to give them: reduce anxiety, reduce stress, better self-esteem. But they may not be describing. That's not the problem they're looking to solve. And so that's another place when we're talking about your messaging, that you want to turn that around. And you can find this a few ways, like obviously asking your people, right? Asking them, the current clients, looking when you survey them when they first come in. And this goes back to process, right? Like really understanding, like, one thing you noticed on my application, it said, describe your problem. What do you think the solution is? I'm starting to hear in your words what you think the problem is, how you describe the issue. And you said structure. We're talking about a lot more than that here, aren't we?
Right.
Because I can hear your voice, but I know from my side what all the other pieces are. Right. But hearing their voice, hearing what they have to say and how they describe it's also going to help you in their messaging and turning that around. There's also something you can do, which is called message mining, which is just a fancy way of like searching in and just seeing. Like, I screenshot people's, sorry people, but the data's out there. I screenshot people's like responses and things all the time. When I see a comment that I'm like, oh, that's a good one. I see people like, what's your biggest struggle in the business? Like, I'm tired of this. I'm like, oops, screenshotting that. Like, because that they're saying it so succinct. I've had a problem with time management. I just feel so stressed in this. And I'm like, yes,
like,
that's
boom.
how they can say it. That's how they say it.
Yeah.
Now I can use that and say, this, are you dealing with this? And they're like, yeah, because that's how they say it, right? That's how they hear it. They don't go, would you like to increase your time management? Yes, I'm looking for time management. Like, no one's saying that. They're like, I'm tired, I'm stressed. I don't feel like I have enough time. That's how they're describing their problem. So being able to message mine like that, and one wonderful way, easy way, is also to go into something like Amazon and look up a book that is within your industry. So look up like, nutrition, let's just say nutrition for dummies. That's not what I was going to say, but like nutrition for dummies. Or then obviously we know that space. There's a ton, right? The Detox Plan. I think there's the new Mark Hyman one that came out. He's always got a new one. And look at the mid to low range stars, not the super happy people, right? We don't want the super happy people, and we don't want the really upset people, because the people who are like really upset, they're gonna complain no matter what.
They and their
right?
feelings, they don't care. They're like,
and the people who are really happy, they're usually super fans. You can't upset them anyway. So you want the people in the middle. Look at those reviews, because what they tend to tell you is what they liked and what they felt it was missing. So you can find a few things there. You can find how they're describing their problem. You can find out how they're saying how the solution was, how the results were. But you can also say, like, he didn't explain this so well. I wish there was more of this. So this is another way, obviously, to get voice of customer, but also as you learn to enhance your own product, to see where those holes in the market are, or where something isn't maybe being explained as strong as it could. So this is just something, now pulling it back to structure, where you're looking at, maybe once a month or every couple weeks, as you're continuing to build your business, you set up an hour or two or three of research days, research time, research and vision, where you actually take the time, it's blocked out, just like your client appointments, to research softwares, platforms, ideas. Your only purpose is to go down the rabbit hole. Because a lot of time we don't set that time aside. And as the visionaries for our business, we need to have that time. We just have to schedule it in.
Yeah.
That keeps us on top of our market. That keeps us being able to support our clients better. But we don't schedule it. Now, we don't need it once a week. It doesn't need to be an hour a day. But knowing that it's there, and wherever you are in your development process, you'll find out, how often that makes sense. So I want to make sure, I know we're kind of getting towards the end here, that we have, we're covering enough things that feel good. Are there any areas of structure that you feel, or processes or systems that are lacking, even in your onboarding, your exiting, things like that?
Onboarding, I think once I get them in, it's pretty good. I think I can work more on attracting them, getting some type of thing going. I do have an ebook and a lead magnet. I got somebody off that, so that's good feedback. So I've been checking that. Just probably overall, I could probably just do a better job. It's not like one thing, but I haven't I like what you said, like that one target, that one thing, and just go with that. You know what I mean? And just hit that hard. I feel like that could really change it, because then they know that's what I do. You know what I mean? Instead of trying to go a lot of different things that's in the program, but maybe picking one for that month or whatever and going. I think that'll be helpful.
And focusing on the actual business model, not just doing the things, but understanding this is the model of how this is the funnel. This is how I attract customers. This is how I convert them. And this is how I deliver the product. Because once you know the funnel, once you know the system you're working with, it's easy to find out if it's not working. But if you got this pipeline that has 16 different things, you're like, I don't know why I'm not getting customers. Where do you start? Where do you start to even fix something when you got 16 different funnels, 16 different pipes? If you stream it down and you're like, everyone's downloading my lead magnet, but then no one wants to talk to me. You're like, there's a problem right here. Let's see what we can do to improve that. What is not being said? What can be said better? What is not being followed up with? We can start to troubleshoot. But when you got too many things going on, we can't fix it. And so that's really a huge part of that focus as well. And yeah, that's I think probably the biggest part for you right now. And then of course the actual moving from the one to many. And it looks like again on your website. And if you don't mind, can I go ahead and pull it up?
Oh
Just
yeah,
right
for
here.
sure.
All right.
For
So
sure.
this is our last couple minutes here. I'm going to pull this up. You know, as they're going through here, I was going somewhere else with that, but we'll just jump in here. One of the things, as I was going through here, you have the free Jumpstart Nutrition Manual. So right off the bat, so this is your prime real estate, right? And it's actually quite great that you have like an action for them to take, right? One thing that I would say is missing from this top section here is like who this is for and what you do, what you deliver, right? Even if it's just a couple words like Coach You Fit. Even if, right. Like a plate,
like up
just,
at the top.
Cheers, where everybody knows your
like
name,
where
right?
that
Like it's one of these things where it's like,
or under
Coach
Coach
You
You Fit, like a tagline or something.
You know, this important thing you say here, right? For busy professional women looking to get fit and fabulous, you know, or your 60-day program for fit and fabulousness or something, right? Like just there, yes. Then we can basically what you're doing is you're telling them where they are and that they're in the right place and that it's for them in that short amount of time. It can be longer, it can be short.
Something.
But it's really just a confirmation of like, I'm in the right space. And then one thing I did want to pull out here was the free Jumpstart Nutrition Manual. The wording of this, there's nothing exciting about that. Jumpstart Nutrition Manual, what does that mean? I'm not excited about a manual, right? My 5 basic habits for good nutrition. I'm not looking for good nutrition, right? So my 5 basic habits for good nutrition, so you can, or that will let you, or 5 nutrition habits to get you unstuck, or like what are they going to give me? Like what am I going to get? My 5 nutrition hacks to get out of the, get away from the snacks.
That will change your life.
Whatever they are. I don't know what right? To save time, to make better meals, whatever those are. Tell me what they are. Like, tell me what you're going to tell me. And then when I open the manual, it's going to tell me. Right? Okay. This is the rule. Yes. This is actually a big rule in public speaking. Okay. You tell the audience what you're about to tell them. Then you tell them. And then you tell them what you just told them.
Tell you, and then the thing tells
you. Today, guys, I'm
okay.
going to share with you 3 tips on how to make your business better. Tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. Now, today I shared 3 tips with you about how to make your business better. They were these 3 tips. Take those with you on your way. That's a good speech right there. All right. So you tell them why they want to download it. Get my 5 tips, for better snacks. Get models, get the, learn the right portions. Okay. To get, to eat where you're supposed to be, right? To take the guesswork out. That gives a little bit of a win there. Handling common hurdles to eating healthy. What do I get? What does that give me? If I handle the hurdle, what's the result? Right? So that's, again, like give them that and much more. So, I mean, that we don't know what that is either. So giving that and free Jumpstart Nutrition Manual, this is where we get like, I don't know how many pages it is. How many pages is it? Okay. Okay.
It's kind of long.
Okay. So here you might want to do.
Well, you're saying 47. It's not 47 pages.
27 pages to get you from.
It's a lot of information.
to ready, clueless to this in 5 days, or whatever that is. But you tell them what the result is in that, because free Jumpstart Manual. No one's like, oh yeah, I've been needing a free Jumpstart Manual.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want to make it.
Yeah, right. So like where it says where it says free Jumpstart Manual, put whatever, 27 pages of awesomeness or whatever. I mean, I'd be more.
I just said,
and then it's already the little title.
And if people aren't downloading it, we keep tweaking the message, right?
That's just
how
what
you know. That's how we see what we're delivering. Maybe you cut that version down. So we can go through. There's a lot of things here. We can talk about messaging, but I know, like I said, we're getting towards the end here. But overall, I think you have some good direction to at least clarify this process for you, to clarify how to get them in, because you already have the model. You already have the one-to-many model sitting there ready. So now it's about just attracting the right people
Mm-hmm.
and really selling the benefits of the group concept as well. There are a lot of benefits to having someone besides just a one-to-one, you know, having that support people are going through. So also really sell that in your messaging. And then you'll come back on here and tell us how you're doing, right? You have it focused.
Yeah.
So while we're here, and I know everyone's gotten to see all your information and your nitty gritties, but why don't you tell them a little again what you do and how they can get in touch with you?
I am not a coach.
Right.
Actually, I do 60-day programs, get started on nutrition, health, wellness, actually to just help you get stronger, whatever your health or fitness goals are in those 60 days, helping you do that. Ideally, weight loss. Most people I work with, busy professionals, like most of you probably are, to help do that.
We want to look good on our IGTVs.
Yeah, definitely. That's important. So you can find me at the website, www.coachyfit.com. I'm also on IG, Train with Chelsea. I'll be having all kinds of specific content for professionals that need help with, you know, the weight management and all that good stuff.
And why do we need it, professionals? We need it because we're busy, we're overwhelmed, we don't have time to become experts on the stuff, but we don't want to walk in blindly. So somebody like Chelsea is going to be able to give us that information and give it to us quickly because we're busy professionals and help us get to where we want to go. Right, Chelsea?
Definitely, yes.
All right. So we'll keep working together on that messaging. We're going to get you there, but check out Chelsea, guys, at Train with Chelsea. Coach You Fit if you're interested. I know she has a smoking deal right now on her kind of beta program, right?
Yes.
So get into that. There's some details there. I think it's a 60-day program, as you learned, and I know that's not going to go on forever, and she needs some feedback. So go get a deal, give her feedback. It's a win-win, right?
Yes. She's my marketer from now on.
Yeah. That's what I do. So that is it for our session today, guys. If you are interested in a live session like this to review your business, you can email us at info@tanyamfk.com. As always, I love connecting with all of you on Instagram as well. And you can find me at Tanyamfk. Learn more about our resources, courses, workshops at tanyamfk.com. We put out new videos about designing your best life and business every week. So please click that subscribe and follow button, share this video, comment, catch us next week. Remember that your someday starts today. Make it the best. I'm Tanyamfk, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. My Design Live is a Tanyamfk production. You can catch us every week at 1 p.m. Eastern and 6 p.m. London on the Tanyamfk YouTube channel. Do you have a method, tip, or hack you'd like to share or explore? Suggest a topic or submit to be a guest by visiting our website at tanyamfk.com.